In this lesson, we'll be playing around with Excel's sorting features. While sorting is really handy, there's a few risks involved, so I'm going to make sure to call those out as they crop up in the lesson. Before we get into sorting, I'm going to finish off the filtering section by working through a couple of more advanced filtering techniques. To remove a filter, simply click back into any of the columns that are filtered, and we know that by the little funnel icon. Click into there, click Clear Filter from Release Year, and that will remove the filter just from that column. We've still got Studio filtered, so what we've done here is created a report that shows us the 2016, 2017 and 2018 data for Walt Disney Pictures alone. Another useful cut of the data from a single source. I've just added the filter back onto Release Year for a second so I can show you a different way which will allow you to remove filters from all of our headings. If we go back into data after clicking on our header, so you can click anywhere in the header, and then at the top here we're in the data tab from the top menu bar, and then we just click clear. That's removed both filters from Studio and from Release Year. Let's do a slightly more advanced filter this time. So let's go into the position filter here, click number filters, and then less than, and type the number 4 in this box here. From left to right, this reads as a sentence in this box, so it is less than 4, and then we click OK. That's now filtered our data to only show things that are less than 4 in the position column. With very little effort, what we've created here is a top 3 grossing movies by year table. Yet another example of how storing the data in a single place is a no-brainer. You should keep in mind that we're keeping the dataset purposefully small for the benefits of this demo, but just pause for a moment to consider if this data had 30 years of movie data in it, and instead of the top 10, it was the top 100. Equally, imagine if this data was any other dataset in the whole world. It takes no longer to filter data in a huge dataset than it does in this small one. As well as filtering our data to show and hide specific elements, we can also sort it to change the order it is read in. At the moment, we've got all of our 2018 data at the top and our 2016 data at the bottom. So let's change that. If you click on a filter that's got text in it, like this title one here, it'll give you an option at the top that says sort A to Z, and just below that, sort Z to A. If you pick one that's got numbers in it, like Release Year, you'll get sort smallest to largest or sort largest to smallest. We're going to hit sort smallest to largest, and you can see that it's put 2016 at the top, followed by 2017, and then 2018 at the bottom. Let's now remove the top 3 filter from the position column. So we can click on here and click Clear Filter from Position. What we would hope had happened was that the 2016 data in total was at the top with 2018 data at the bottom. That isn't what's happened though. You can see we've only got 3 rows here of 2016 data, and then we're back into 2018. Now that is because we sorted our data when we had it filtered. When we have it filtered, only a certain amount of that data is actually visible, and Excel will only do the sort on that data. That can be quite dangerous. Does this mean you shouldn't use the sort function in Excel? No. Does it mean you should use caution when using it? Yes. And by caution, I mean try to ensure that all of your data is visible or unfiltered when you apply any kind of sorting. Is there a better way to reduce the risk? Yes, there is. There's a function called pivot charts and pivot tables, and these will be covered in more detail in the more advanced Excel Go courses. When used correctly, these are a much more powerful and reliable way of manipulating data, but they aren't essential, and for basic to intermediate requirements, this sorting method that I've just shown you is absolutely fine. Before we complete this section, I want to give you one last watch out on sorting. We've applied filters to our full data set, but let's say we add a new column. For the purposes of example, it doesn't matter what this new column is, so let's just grab the position column here, right click, copy, and then pop it over here. And let's just call it test for this example. At this point now, the values in the position column and the test column match. So we would expect, seeing as all of our data is unfiltered, that if we clicked on here and did sort largest to smallest, that everything would change to that effect. That hasn't happened though. You can see that the test column here has remained unfiltered and hasn't followed with the rest of the data. Now the reason for that is we set filters up before we had this column. Excel hasn't considered that when we've added this column that it's part of that data set. Now that's a bit of a problem. Imagine you had a list of employees' names and addresses and had filters applied to each column of that data. Now imagine you added a column that included their salary but forgot to add that column to the filter. You now sort the data alphabetically by their surname and send the report out to payroll. We know from what we've just learned that all of the data has been mixed up and none of the salaries will match the correct person. Great for some people who get a little bonus that month, but terrible for others and probably worse for you who built the report incorrectly. Luckily, there's a way to safeguard against this, and I'm going to show you through it in the next part. In the next lesson, I'll be showing you a much quicker and better way of storing and formatting your data, the Excel table.